All right, viewers, you're watching 7 at 7, the only news bulletin where I curate the day's top 7 stories for our viewers. I'm Preeti Chaudhary and I'm going to take you directly to our first story, which comes in from the Valley. The Valley, which is now seeing a mass exodus of migrants after killing of so many civilians.
Days after selectively targeting the Hindu-Sikh minorities in Kashmir, now Pakistan-backed terrorists are killing poor migrant laborers in a planned strategy to spread fear against non-locals. On Sunday, terrorists in Kulgam barged into an accommodation of migrant laborers from Bihar, shooting 2 to death, leaving 1 critically injured. This comes after a spate of civilian killings in last 2 weeks, with over 10 civilians, mainly non-Kashmiris, who have been killed. Fear of further attacks has led to exodus of thousands of laborers from the Kashmir Valley. Scared, desperate to save their life, ruining the loss of livelihood.
क्या काम करते थे, अब क्यों जाना पड़ रहा है?
गोलगप्पे बेचते थे हम, इसलिए वो साथ वाले हम मर रहे थे, इसलिए हम घर जा रहे हैं।
क्या भय का माहौल है, क्या है?
और भय का साहब डर के वजह से जा रहे हैं। रेड़े वालों को जब मानने लगे तो हम जब क्या करेंगे, इधर काम करेंगे।
यहाँ पे वापस आने का इरादा नहीं?
नहीं, यहाँ पे नहीं। अब
क्यों, डर लगता है?
हाँ, और क्या, डर तो लगता है।
कितने सालों से कश्मीर घाटी आए हैं और इस तरह का आतंक का साया कभी आपने महसूस किया?
नहीं, इस तरह का कभी नहीं महसूस किया था, क्योंकि ऐसा हमारे साथ हुआ ही नहीं कभी।
रूम में तो मत है, सुरक्षा दल तो अपने जगह जगह पे है, यहाँ रूम में घुस के मार रहा है, इसी के वजह जा रहा है आदमी सब।
कौन से राज्य से?
छत्तीसगढ़ राज्य, जांजगीर जिले का हूँ मैं।
कश्मीर में कहाँ अभी काम कर रहे थे?
पूरा हुक्म में हम लोग ईंट भट्टे में काम कर रहे थे। वहाँ का मालिक हमको इतना मार मार के पूरा सीजन भर काम करवाया और हमको ना पैसे नहीं दिया, मार के भगा दिया वहाँ से 12 बजे रात को।
हमें जल्द से जल्द छत्तीसगढ़ पहुँचाना चाहिए। बाकी कुछ नहीं चाहिए सर, हमें मरना थूना जाना है सर। उधर
वहाँ कभी नहीं जाएंगे, हम मर जाएंगे भी नहीं जाएंगे, वहाँ कभी नहीं जाएंगे। हमारा मजदूर पैसा दिलाया जाए और हमको छत्तीसगढ़ लेकर जाए घर।
You can see that they have packed their bags and arrived here in Jammu. These were the scenes that were witnessed in 1990 when an entire community of Kashmiri Pandits had to leave their homes due to the threats that were issued by the terrorists, due to the killings that were carried out by the terrorists.
Jaish-linked terror group United Liberation Front has claimed responsibility for the gruesome murders, also warning migrants of more attacks and threatening them to leave. Police has been responding with swift action, launching a massive crackdown, detaining hundreds of suspects for alleged links with the terror groups. Joint operations by the Indian Army, the CRPF and the Jammu Kashmir Police had neutralized at least 13 terrorists with 9 encounters in 9 days. To review the security situation, Home Minister Amit Shah called a marathon meeting with police chiefs of all states. Director General of the CRPF and NIA is in the Kashmir Valley presently, monitoring intelligence inputs. Ex gratia relief of 1 lakh rupees has been announced by District Administration Anantnag, while Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar announced 2 lakh rupees each to the kin of both victims and also asked the centre to assist Bihar residents in Kashmir.
वहाँ पर तो कोई गड़बड़ तो हो ही रहा है। कुछ लोग जानबूझ करके बाहर से जो लोग काम करने के लिए वहाँ पर पहुँचे हुए हैं, उनके साथ कुछ हो रहा है और हम लोग इस बात को लेकर के एकदम वहाँ भी अलर्ट कर रहे हैं कि देख लिया जाए कि लोग तो जाने के लिए स्वतंत्र है।
Meanwhile, a political face-off has erupted on the recent killings.
आज वक्त आ गया है कि भाजपा सरकार को, गृह मंत्री को, जो ये हमले बढ़ रहे हैं इस पे अब जवाब देना चाहिए कि नोटबंदी, आर्टिकल 370 का क्या नतीजा ये बढ़ता आतंकवाद है।
Modi government has already cracked down heavily on the Pakistani sponsored terrorism, and we will keep on continuing hitting hard to the backbones of the Pakistani terrorists.
Is the situation on ground the rerun of horror of the 1990s, but that in the Naya Kashmir?
For scores of migrant labourers who head back home leaving Kashmir Valley, it's a tough choice but a clear one. They have chosen life over livelihood. For now, they head back home only to say they will return once things are normal. But despite added security measures, many of them who are staying back live with a sense of insecurity and a sense of fear. With camera person Sanjeev, this is Kamaljit Sandhu in Srinagar for India Today.
Let's shift focus right now to Bangladesh. Durga Puja festivities marred by massive amounts of violence in the country, especially against the minority Hindu community, with many temples also being attacked.
Minority Hindus targeted. Temples vandalized. Widespread violence marred Durga Puja celebration. At least 5 killed and scores injured in communal unrest in neighboring Bangladesh. All this over alleged blasphemy incident at a Durga Puja pavilion in Comilla, about 100 kilometers from Dhaka, leading to havoc unleashed by unidentified bigots. The violence erupted in more than a dozen districts across Bangladesh. The unruly mob attacked the ISKCON temple in Naukhali on the last day of Durga Puja on Friday. Hundreds of protesters brutally attacked priests and devotees. One devotee, Parth Das, was brutally beaten up and killed. His body was thrown in the pond and found on Saturday.
আমরা অবস্থান করছি আন্তর্জাতিক কৃষ্ণ ভবনামৃত সংঘ ইসকন নোয়াখালীতে। এখানে একদল সন্ত্রাসী বাহিনী এসে আমাদের পুরো মন্দির, রথ, মন্দিরের গাড়ি, প্রভুপাদের বিগ্রহ থেকে শুরু করে 2 জন ভক্তকে মেরে ফেলেছে।
Security has been tightened across several sensitive areas after days of communal violence during Durga Puja celebration. The paramilitary border guard Bangladesh has expanded the vigil to more than half of total 64 administrative districts.
The violence forced ISKCON to dial Prime Minister Narendra Modi and UN to interfere and ensure peace.
प्रधानमंत्री के जो सेक्रेटरी उनसे बात किया बताया और प्रधानमंत्री से रिक्वेस्ट करने के लिए बोला कि वो बांग्लादेश के प्रधानमंत्री से बात करें, और हम लोग ने यूनाइटेड नेशन में भी चिट्ठी भेजा है सेक्रेटरी जनरल को, और हम लोग ये डिमांड कर रहे हैं कि इमीडिएटली यूनाइटेड नेशन है किस लिए आखिर।
India has termed the violence disturbing, and Indian High Commission along with the consulates are in close contact with authorities in Dhaka.
India must extend necessary help to Sheikh Hasina to ensure that Hindus can live in Bangladesh in peace without fear of persecution.
The members of ISKCON Kolkata staged a protest in front of Bangladesh High Commission in Kolkata demanding justice.
Appeal to the Indian government to raise their voice, to do something to extend security and support for the devotees who are threatened in Bangladesh.
Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has issued a tough warning on Wednesday. She said that those involved will be hunted down.
পর্যন্ত 43 জন গ্রেফতার হয়েছে, মামলা রুজু প্রক্রিয়াধীন আছে। আমরা চাই যে ক্ষতিগ্রস্ত ব্যক্তি ওনার পক্ষ থেকে অভিযোগটি দায়ের করা হলে সেই মামলাটা ভালো হবে, সুন্দর হবে। এখন অভিযোগ যাবে, মামলা হবে। যতগুলো ঘটনা ঘটেছে প্রত্যেকটাকে কেন্দ্র করে মামলা হবে।
Across the border, the recent attacks created a political storm. TMC has called for action. The state BJP met ISKCON officials and announced protest against attacks on temples.
বিশ্বাস করি যে হাসিনা সরকার ধর্মনিরপেক্ষ সরকার তারা নিশ্চিতভাবে যথাযথ এর অ্যাকশন নেবে
सो कॉल्ड सेकुलर ममता बनर्जी जो बंगालियों की अस्मिता की बात करती हैं आज कहाँ हैं किस बिल में छिपी हुई शेख हसीना के राज में वहाँ इतना बड़ा जुल्म हुआ है एक बार भी उनका जवान नहीं निकल रहा है
The minority Hindu community makes up about 10% of the population in Bangladesh, but has suffered religious persecution. With Indrajit Kundu and Prema Rajaram in Kolkata and Mazhar Islam Khan in Dhaka, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, viewers, let's shift focus right now back to the state of Karnataka. Now, the government of Karnataka has decided to conduct a survey on churches to possibly weed out what they say unauthorized churches. It's led to a massive political and even social debate.
Politics over forced religious conversion taking center stage again, this time in Karnataka, where a proposed survey of forced conversions at churches has sparked a major controversy. The Legislature Committee on Backward Classes and Minorities Welfare proposal suggests a survey of churches in Karnataka to identify unauthorized churches and to monitor their activities.
How will a community feel when survey is ordered? We have not gone against the interest of the community. If government wants to know what is the extent, what is their habitation, what is their asset and all this, what is wrong in that? If somebody is willing to join any community, we have no hesitation in allowing it. But somebody, if they pressurize, if they corrupt, if they motivate for some other reasons, then we will take action.
The decision has also received flack from the Christian community, who call the move futile and unnecessary.
There are so many laws of the country that perhaps are enough. By bringing another law of anti-conversion, I would say the government is playing in the hands of the fundamentalists for us to act, for them to act upon this particular and hound us for everything that we do, and especially the lawful things that we do.
The opposition Congress has also accused the Bombay government of targeting minorities.
This has been misused by the BJP to target the Christian community. Just because the BJP has the upper hand, they have more numbers and they control the committee. Mr. Golihetti Shekhar has chaired that meeting in the absence of the chairman and directed these deputy commissioners to conduct this survey.
This church survey proposal from the Karnataka government has come at a time when cases of alleged forced religious conversion have repeatedly been reported in the state. On Sunday, scenes of chock-a-block traffic were witnessed at the Hubli-Dharwad road after right-wing activists staged a dharna claiming a mass conversion racket at a local church.
Now, in this blame game which is going on between the state government and the church believes that the chief minister is being pressurized by groups in order to target the community. But the government very clearly states that with this survey, they will not be infringing upon the rights of members of the community. With video journalist Shivmurthy Gurumat, Nolan Pinto for India Today.
All right, viewers, let's now take you back to that massive controversy that has taken place with Dera Sacha Sauda's chief, Gurmeet Ram Rahim. The latest, viewers, he's been sentenced to life imprisonment. A special CBI court of Panchkula sentenced Ram Rahim and 4 other accused of murder of Ranjit Singh, a former manager of the sect. The manager was murdered for his suspected role in the circulation of an anonymous letter that narrated how women were being sexually exploited by Ram Rahim. The court has levied a fine of 31 lakh rupees, half of which will go to the victim's son. The self-proclaimed godman is already serving a 20-year-old jail term for raping 2 of his followers.
सारे पांचों को 5 मुजरिम को उम्र कैद और बाकियों को 50-50 हजार जुर्माना। बाबा राम रहीम को 31 लाख रुपए जुर्माना। 31
Well, welcome. You're watching a fact-check segment where we bust certain claims masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, there's an image which is floating about suggesting that BJP MP Manoj Tiwari was heckled in Delhi. False. The fact-check on it clearly makes clear the fact that Manoj Tiwari injured his head during a recent protest and was not heckled. With that quick fact check, time for us to go into a quick break, but to stay with me on the other side is To The Point.